Yes, hello, welcome, good evening everyone, सुस्वागतम स्वागत है आप सबका आज के इस एक्सपर्ट टॉक शो लाइव सेशन में. टुडे इज़ आवर 30th सेशन एंड वी थैंक यू ऑल फॉर योर अमेजिंग रिस्पॉन्स टिल नाउ. सो बस ऐसे ही अपना अप्रिशिएशन अपनी लाइक्स हमें शेयर करते रहिए. वी जस्ट love your appreciation and thank you for joining in today. Today we will have amazing speaker, amazing guest who will speak on uh, yeah, so he will speak on growth the only constant. So it's time to invite our today's expert Rishi Seth, who will speak on the growth the only constant. So before that, if you can hear my voice clearly, then type in yes, say hello, good evening, and do share the session in your network. अगर आप यूट्यूब से देख रहे हैं तो सब्सक्राइब आवर चैनल, प्रेस द बेल आइकॉन. एंड अगर आप फेसबुक लिंक्डइन से देख रहे हैं तो लाइक द सेशन, शेयर द सेशन विथ योर नेटवर्क, विथ योर फ्रेंड्स, सो दैट they will also be able to take the benefit of this session. हमारा एक ही पर्पज़ है, वी वांट टू रीच आउट टू द मैक्सिमम क्राउड, वी वांट टू हेल्प, वी वांट टू सपोर्ट द ऑडियंस विथ डिफरेंट एक्सपर्ट्स जो आके अपना नॉलेज शेयर करेंगे. सो लेट अस इनवाइट टुडेज एक्सपर्ट ऋषि. हाय ऋषि, गुड इवनिंग, वेलकम.
Hi, Vipul. Good evening, and thank you for having me today. And
Yeah, in fact, thanks.
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks to you for accepting our invitation. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm saying congratulations to you, Vipul. I think this is the 30th episode. You have been doing a fantastic job of sharing knowledge with many people out there who possibly just become more intelligent and wise by listening to the experience of multiple people who come and share their thoughts. So, thank you, Vipul, for this initiative.
Yeah, that's because of persons like you only, who has the spirit to share their knowledge, who has the spirit to share their experience. Because sharing is caring, but most of refrain from sharing. हर किसी के बस की बात नहीं होती है अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना. सो थैंक्स फॉर coming here. I am sure audience will love your experience and they will be happy to know more about you.
My pleasure.
Yes, audience. So welcome, Mr. Rishi Seth. Type in welcome. Type in hi. Yes. So let me give a brief intro about Rishi, and then we'll start the session. So so Rishi Seth, who is director at Fractal, and before Fractal, he was with TCS for almost 14 years. That's huge, I must say. I appreciate. Yeah, he's continuous learner. Did his MBA from BK School, Senior Leadership Program from IIMA Ahmedabad, and Executive Leadership Program from INSEAD. He is passionate salesperson with focus on client centricity and value creation. He has lived in India, Netherlands, France, Belgium, and hence he has vast international experience and exposure too. So, welcome Rishi once again on this live platform, and let us start today's topic: growth, the only constant. Yes,
Absolutely.
Rishi. So,
Absolutely.
shall we start with the first question?
Yeah,
With your
and I
permission?
can and I can see a few people are sending hi, so hi to
Yeah.
everyone. And welcome on.
Yes, Chaitali. Yes, thanks for joining in today's session. So let us start with the first question. So,
Sure.
very first question. People usually say that change is the only constant, but you talk about growth being the only constant. Why so?
Yeah. So people see. I personally believe that when you talk about change being the only constant, it's a mindset, right? Now this change can come from within, or there is someone from outside who imposes a change on you, and then it becomes about how you react to it. So I believe that the fact when people say change is the only constant, it also makes them believe that whatever is happening, you have to deal with it in a positive way because you can't stop things from happening. To give an example, COVID scenario. It happened. It was a change. You can't stop. You have to adapt. Similarly, maybe for a time, short period of time, things like demonetization. It happened. It was a change that was imposed on you. So you have this mindset that okay, whatever we will happen and we will react to it. But if you change this mindset to growth the only constant, you are changing the narrative from being reactive to being proactive. Because in order to grow, you have to take some progressive steps. You start taking control of things. So that's where I feel that if you think that change is the only constant, many a times you become reactive in nature, that you have to deal with things when something happens. Whereas when you talk about growth being the only constant, you take charge of many things, whether it's your personal life, your professional life, your health, your physical health, mental health. So that's where it is important. So when change is the only constant, I would say is a neutral statement. Growth, the only constant, becomes a positive statement where you become in charge of driving things. That's why I believe that growth should be the only constant. Change, even if there is a change, how will you grow out of that change? Right? In the pandemic situation of COVID, when it was imposed, there were many people, there were two sets of people. People who took it positively, went for new learnings, new trainings, used that time to really grow personally and professionally. Whereas there were few people who went into maybe even in depression, right? Because it was something outside which was imposed. So, in order to change the mindset, become more positive and become more, I would say, driver of what you want to achieve, I believe in this thought.
Very rightly said, growth is the only constant. You need to just accept the change and move on with the next step. So, very rightly said. So, moving on with the next question, uh, is there a secret recipe for of a success in particularly in sales or in general, if you can say?
Okay. So I'm not sure if it's a secret recipe, but I'll share what has worked for me. And maybe what have worked for me in my past 14 to 15 years, I can share that, and it might work for others. So I'll share that. And then people can really use it in their life and see if it is a secret recipe or not. So I firmly believe that if you have to sell, you need to understand three things at the core and you need to invest time in it. Number one, know your client. So, who are the people to whom you have to sell? What is that organization? So, you need to do a good homework. So, know your client. Know what are the likes, dislikes? What is the cultural background of that organization, of that person? If you know them better, you will be able to contextualize your approach of selling better. So, know your client, number one. Second, know your company. Why it is important is that once you understand your client, now your company, there might be 10 different products or 10 different services, but you need to understand each one of them in detail. So do your homework to understand your organization, what you can deliver, what you can promise to your customer, what you cannot promise to your customer, because that is also equally important. I've seen many salesmen when they are interacting with clients, there are few things that they promise, and there are other things which they also promise, but they are not sure if they will be able to deliver or not. So that is very important, that you need to understand what your organization can deliver, because it is not just one transaction. It is about multiple transactions that you will do with that client. It is about the focus, that how long that customer will continue to be with you. So if you just commit which you will not be able to deliver, you will not be able to generate value later on. So number one, know your client, know your company, what you can offer, what you can commit. And third point is, and I would say this is very important, know your client's client. Yeah, because at the end, you are trying to, and this is very pertinent in the service industry, IT industry, when you try to sell your offerings, why is your client buying it? Because he wants to provide some end services to their customers, or he wants to derive some benefit which he can then pass on to your customer. For an IT company, if they are buying an IT services from me, they want to create a better customer experience for their end customer. So you need to understand what your client's client will want. So if you really focus on these three things, you will generally become, I would say, more successful salesperson. Yeah, and continue to network, because in today's world, network is the new net worth. So as a salesperson, that is a key. So I would say that it's not a recipe, but these are things which have worked for me, and I hope it will work for others also.
Very rightly said. So, moving on with the next question, can anyone excel in sales? Can you share your experience, please?
Yeah. So my experience is, the answer is yes. Anyone who wants to excel in sales can excel in sales. Yeah, and many people actually, I feel, sometimes don't even realize that they are doing sales in daily life. To give an example, if you are there in a job interview, what are you doing? You are trying to position yourself as a product which that particular organizations can buy, right? And it is valid for many people, I'm sure, people that you'll be interacting with, right? They themselves are a product, and there's no shame in that. When they are trying to sell themselves as a product to a new company, as a profile, it's basically a demand supply which is being met. So many people go into that interview, they prepare their best, so they are trying to make that sell. In personal life also, right? If you're making a marriage proposal, yeah, you prepare, you try to, so everyone is doing, when you're trying to convince your father, mother to just go for a night out when you're a kid, everyone is trying to do some or other kind of sale in day-to-day life also, but people just don't realize it. So the answer is yes. And then how can you excel in sales? See, it's all about consistency. You learn when you try, and at the end, you will make mistakes, but you have to take it back as learning. And usually, the success rate, even for the very successful salesperson, is 20 to 30%. What it means is that if they are approaching 10 different clients, not everyone will buy their services, not everyone will give them deals. There will be possibly 20 to 30%, which is considered to be a very successful salesperson. But it means they have to deal with about 70 to 80% of the rejections, right? So you have to be consistent. Even if your first five attempts are failing, it doesn't mean that you are not a good salesperson. As long as you are learning from them, try to understand why they were not able to buy your services or products. What is that reason? Is it because of the price? Is it because of the positioning? It is because there was no match between the value that you were providing versus the value that they were expecting. So try to understand, learn, contextualize your next pitch. If there is a feedback, take it. So be consistent, and I would say that is what will make that particular salesperson click. And I'll possibly add one more point, that psychology of sales is very important, and it is very important for someone who's newly entering into sales as a salesperson. What I mean by psychology of sales, uh, you need to understand how humans think. Vipul, there is a small example I'll ask you.
Yeah,
Let's say,
definitely.
let's say if someone, there are two lines. Okay, I'll say, and you tell me what will be of this rate. One line says, "Can you give me a donation?" And the second line says, "Can you give me a donation? Even 1 rupee will help." What do you think will work better?
Second one will work better because specific is terrific. That's what we can say.
Absolutely. And that 1 rupee is so small amount that no one will think twice, right? If you just leave it open, people might say, okay, this might be 10 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees. But if you make it so small, that, so this is what the sales is, that human psychology, you have to start moving with small, small steps, right? If you are making a sale, don't try to, let's say, sell a big product first. Give them small trial offer of 1 week. That's why you see many of these online products, they give you 14 days free trial period. They give one first pilot for free, because that is where the pain, that psychological element, is very less for someone to buy. Even if they give 14-day period, they say, okay, only for 50 rupees, try it for 14 days. Okay, so psychology of sale is that you have to make that pain less for the buyer to start with. Let them try, and once they try, then it depends upon the value they get out of it. So that is about your value proposition. So how you really play with the psychological facts is what you need to learn. Make that pain small in beginning, the pain of letting going your money as from the pockets, which will eventually help you make the sale. Be consistent. Failures are fine. Learn from them and move ahead.
Very rightly said. So the next question is, what is a broad level of categorization and sales?
Okay. So as I mentioned, right, that everyone is doing some of the other sales in day-to-day life. But when you talk purely about business sales, I would broadly categorize them into two parts. And it also depends, and it might help many individuals who are trying to get into a salesperson role, that where they belong. See, there are many people who can pick up a phone and call anyone, right? They are, because by nature they are such. They are just going after numbers, that I can talk to 100 new people every day, or I can talk to 10 new people every day. I can reach out to any customer or any potential client. So they by nature are there. And then there would be other people who are not very comfortable in reaching out to anyone. They possibly need that, if they know someone, they'll be very comfortable in talking to them, understanding their specific requirement, and then go back with a solution. And both are required. And that is where I say that the broad categorization are these two. From sales perspective, we call the one which I said mentioned is hunters, and the other one is farmers. What do you mean by hunter? Like hunter, they are aggressive, they are assertive. They go out in the market and after any new deal, like a hunter, right? You need to every day go out and go for new business. Whereas as a farmer, you need to take care of your existing customers, right? That farmer, their mindset is that I nurture my, and if I nurture this environment, I will be able to eat, because that is what will give me grains tomorrow. So these are the two mindsets. So I have seen very successful people who have very strong characteristics of farmers. They fail if they go into the roles of a hunter, and other way also. You might be a very good hunter, but if you get into the farming kind of sales role, there are instances that you fail because that is not aligned with your personality. So, as an individual, you first of all try to understand that, are you more assertive? Are you okay talking to any new person, or are you more comfortable talking to your existing customers? Because they also give you repeat business. If your existing customer is today giving you business worth 1 million, if you really nurture that, in 2 years, that same customer can give you business of 10 million. So, that is also a very important growth, and not everyone can do it. Whereas there is one personality one salesperson who can get you 10 different customers, and everyone giving you 1 million each. So you need them both. So from a categorization perspective, hunters and farmers, as a sales organization, you need both of them. And as an individual, in order to become successful, you need to find and invest time to understand where you are, and then invest your time and energy into that area.
So very rightly said. You mean to say both methods are right, but you need to find out which one is suitable. आपके लिए कौन सा सूट करता है, and
Yes.
you need to move ahead in that uh, specialization, right?
Exactly.
That practice.
Yeah.
Very rightly said. Very rightly explained. So moving on with the next question, people face many setbacks in professional life, right? So what is your advice to them, especially this is the time, many of corona pandemic was going on. I'll
Yeah.
positively say it was going on, so we are not expecting the fourth wave.
Yeah.
But so what is your advice to them?
Yeah. So I think because you mentioned specifically setbacks in professional life, and everyone, even I have dealt with them, and many people go through it. I think first of all, just take it that it's your professional life. It is not your entire life. There is a very big part of your life which is not about being professional. So you need to, many people actually get into that zone that professional life is everything, right? And in that scenario, if there is a setback, you kind of become impacted by it too much, which I don't think is right. Right? Together with personal life, there is together with professional, there is a personal life. So be clear about it so that the impact because of any such setback should not impact everything. Number one. Number two, I personally believe that there is nothing called a failure, right? You might fall, but no one fails. And again, it's a mindset change because, and many people have said it in different ways. Like when Edison said that he made 100 attempts to create the light bulb. What he said it, instead of 100 failures, he said that 100 ways in which it will not work. So how you turn it your failure into your learning? My simple rule is every time someone says I fail, I particularly highlight no. What are the three things I learned out of that experience? If there is a setback, what is that three things I learn out of that setback? Is it like I need to be better in my pricing? I need to be better in my marketing. I need to be better in terms of customer connect. What is that? And the moment you convert it into a learning, it becomes positive, right? Your mind is think that you gain something out of it. So that mindset is very important, and then in itself leads to your growth mindset. So you take that setbacks will be there in every professional life, but you have to make it into a perspective that what you learn out of it and how you move ahead. This is on the professional side, and in order to make that right balance, I would say stay healthy, do your regular workouts and meditation, because that is one thing I'm a big fan of. If you are able to take care of your mind and body, I think you can deal with any such setbacks. So invest some time every day into it. That helps your professional life, that helps your personal life, and that gives you a sense of balance.
Very rightly said. Balancing is very much important in current time, or it's always necessary. So, so next question is as a fresher, what can we focus on during first year of our professional life? As it's been said, ki for well beginning is half done. So
Yeah.
our first impression is very important. So for freshers, the beginning is very crucial, and many a times they do many mistakes in that. So, what is your advice to them? What they should focus on during the first year?
Yeah. So a classic example or answer to this would be that learn. But for me, that is not just for first year. Learning is non-stop. Even I am learning. There are many seniors to me who are still learning. So definitely learn, not just in first year, but throughout your career. But specifically for first year, I would say this is the time you need to ask questions. Okay, the more questions you ask, the more you will be able to understand the first three things that I mentioned: your clients, your company, and your client's client. So have that learning approach throughout, but this is the first year where people will give you that benefit of doubt that you can ask any question, and no question is stupid question. Okay, ask questions so that you understand your client, your company, your client's client, and don't think about big things like what is the purpose of my life. Don't focus on that. Try to do everything, try to focus at everything that you are doing, because whatever your seniors, whatever your organization asking you to do, try to do that purposefully. What I mean by that is that if even if it is about writing a simple code, right, for people who are doing coding, try to understand what is the purpose of writing that code, like what business functionality will it touch, which what end customers will get impacted because of the new code that I'm writing. So if you are able to do that particular thing, that finding purpose in everything that you are doing, don't say no to learning. If even if you have to do small things to big things, I think first year is that year where you should do everything. Get your hands dirty. So ask questions, get your hands dirty, try to understand the purpose of everything that you are doing, so that you know that in the big picture what impact you are creating, because there are many freshers out there, many people with limited experience who do fantastic coding, but they never ask that who will this coding at the end impact. They possibly are creating a very impactful design, but they don't know what will be the end use of that design. So focus on that, and then I think your life, the professional life, is ready for a takeoff from there.
Very, very rightly said. So, audience, you can also ask your questions. We'll be happy to answer them at the end of the session. सो आपने सही बताया, सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग, लोगों को क्वेश्चंस पूछने में बड़ी ही शर्म आती है, बड़ा ही डर लगता है. दे हैव अ फियर कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे, अरे इसको इतना भी नहीं पता है. सो फियर ऑफ आस्किंग क्वेश्चन इज वेरी बिग प्रॉब्लम, यू शुड ओवरकम दैट. एंड आपने
Yeah,
सही बताया कि क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग क्वेश्चन इज द biggest skill everyone should have. So
yeah.
the next question is, as a leader, what are the top three factors for success?
Okay. So here also again, I'll share something what has worked for me as leader. Uh, so I feel that as a leader, you need to lead by example. So it's not about, and it's like practice what you preach. So it's not just about telling others what to do, but you have to show them, because that's where your team members, the organization for
I,
whom
I'm
you are.
I'm sorry, Rishi, but I think there was some network glitch. So can you please repeat the answer of this question? So as a leader, what are the top three factors for success?
Okay. Yeah, Vipul. So what I was saying is that as a leader, I'll share what has worked for me, and I would say the first element to be successful is that you have to lead by example, because leadership is not just about telling people what to do. You have to really show them that how to do, and then let others learn from it, because many a times there are multiple people or managers out there who are just focusing on telling others that what to do, but at the end you have to get your hands dirty. You have to do it and let your team members, your organization, see it to believe it, that what is working once you're performing it. So lead by example, because once you lead by example, that's when you have the capability to become a leader who can inspire your organization, a leader who can inspire your team members. Because at the end, as a leader, the most important, I would say, quality is specifically ensure that you are able to get work done right, and the best way to get the work done is by inspiring people. So that I would say is the quality number one, that lead by example. Quality number two is focus on value creation. As a leader, your ultimate focus should be that whatever I am doing, at the end, is it creating value? The value can be for my organization, the value can be for, and definitely should be for your clients. That what, how am I creating value for my clients? So everything that I am doing, at the end, if it is not adding value towards your clients, your customers, your organization, for your employees, you have to think about it. So have that value creation mindset. And third, an important thing is that as a leader, my important role is to listen and remove bottlenecks for my team, right? Because it's easy to say do this, do that, but when you say do this, do that, people should be comfortable to come back to you and tell you that why are they not able to do a particular thing. Is infrastructure a problem? Is money a problem? Is talent availability a problem? And once they share, so give them that environment, and once they share, you have to remove those bottlenecks. Your ultimate job is to ensure you give them that environment where they can perform their duties, because once they are able to do their duties well, half of a leadership's task is done, right? You will start getting the output, you will start getting the results. So these are the three things I would say that have worked for me, and hopefully it will work for others also.
Very, very rightly said. So it's time to cover the live question we have from one user.
Yeah.
So uh, Rupika Kumawat is asking that how we can decide whether I'm suitable for sales or not, so because सेल्स में जाने से बहुत ही डर लगता है, या ऐसा होता है कि सेल्स में टारगेट होता है, प्रेशर होता है, ट्रैवलिंग होता है, सो ये फियर रहता है. तो फियर ऑफ बीइंग फायर्ड, सो उसको कैसे ओवरकम किया जाए, या कैसे डिसाइड किया जाए कि मैं सेल्स के लिए सूटेबल हूँ. व्हाट इज योर आंसर टू दिस?
Yeah. Hey, hi, Ritika. So I'll try to answer this. See, for me, sales is a very interesting job because if you like to talk to people, I think you are suitable for sales because everything else you can learn. And as I was saying, right, that there are two elements. There are some people who are very aggressive, assertive. They can just talk to anyone and everyone, and they can possibly take a role, do a role of a hunter better. Because other things which I mentioned to become a successful salesperson, know your company, know your client, know your client's client. This is something you can learn. There is no rocket science in it. It's just that you have to put your effort, time, read, listen about these three things, and then you can just talk about these things to your new customers. So I would say it's fun. And similarly, even if you're not very assertive, you can always get into sales and play a role of a farmer. Because when you are a farmer, it's just like you are nurturing the relationship, right? There is someone who, to take an example, right? You must be going to buy something from the kirana shop nearby. Now that person who's selling you that daily kirana, he just says good morning, घर पे सब ठीक है, और क्या चाहिए, कुछ party है तो मतलब that's what they do. They just try to interact and they try to create that relationship with you as a seller and a buyer. That next time you, if they, even if there are three or four kirana walas, you will possibly go to the one who was more comfortable, who gave you the comfort, who interacted with you, right? So this is how being a salesperson is. So yes, you, if you are open to talk and build relationships, I think you can get into sales. Other things can be learned. More importantly, I would say that as a salesperson, don't be afraid of targets. Targets achieve हो जाते हैं if you have the right mindset and approach to deal and create the value. So don't worry about the target. Those are numbers. Sometimes you will achieve, sometimes you will overachieve, sometimes you will underachieve. But that should not be a pressure. At the end, I always say, pressure उतना ही आता है जितना आप खुद लेते हो. Okay, so it's all about, if you take pressure, you will get burdened by it. But there's no need to take pressure. Just focus on creating value and delivering the clients. For that, understand whether you are a hunter or a buyer and get into that direction.
Very, very, very truly said. So, yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much, Rishi, for all the value addition, all the knowledge sharing. So, before we go, I would like to know the final words from you. Your motivational mantra, your something which inspires you. So, please share your inspirational story or your motivational mantra with our audience.
Yeah, sure, sure. So I think there are two parts to it. First one I will say is that the best investment is the investment you make in yourself. So I take it as a mantra because that has really helped me improve so much. So, and this investment is either you are reading books, either you are listening to podcasts, either you are listening to such sessions like Vipul is organizing with the experts. So invest in yourself, invest your time. And as a principle, what I see is that even from an income perspective, 3% of my income I invest back in myself. Whether it is about going for a training, whether it is about just buying books. And that is a principle which has really helped me, I would say, excel, do certifications, right? So invest in yourself. Second is have balance in life. Professional life is very important, but similarly, your personal life is equally important. And to ensure that you have this balance, invest, or I would say, do your proper workouts and meditation. If you are able to do these two things, right, invest in yourself and take care of your health, I think whether you want to excel as a salesperson, whether you want to excel into any other field of profession, uh, you will do a pretty good job.
Very rightly said. Balancing is the very important in anyone's life. Balancing personal life, professional life, and balancing with the good health is very, very, very important. So very rightly said. Thank you, Rishi, for your amazing knowledge sharing. We definitely loved it, and we hope to see you again and again with different topics on our expert talk live sessions. I am sure audience will definitely love it. Thank you, Rishi. for
Thank
joining
you
in
so much,
today.
Vipul, organizing. Thank
Yeah,
you all the
thank you.
audience for joining in. And it's Friday, so weekend is coming. I hope everyone has a good weekend and belated
Yeah,
Women's Day, International
yeah,
Women's Day to everyone who joined.
yeah,
Cheers.
yeah. Thank you so much. Cheers and enjoy
Thank
your
you.
weekend too. Thank you. Stay blessed. Yeah, bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Yeah. यस ऑडियंस आई एम श्योर आप लोगों ने आज का सेशन एंजॉय किया होगा. यू वुड हैव गॉट लॉट ऑफ इंसाइट. सो बस ऐसे ही जुड़े रहिए. एवरी फ्राइडे 5 PM वील बी कमिंग विथ डिफरेंट एक्सपर्ट्स. हम ऐसे ही एक्सपर्ट्स को बुलाते रहेंगे. सो डू ट्यून इन एवरी फ्राइडे 5 PM on our YouTube channel Vipul the Wonderful. Subscribe our channel, press the bell icon to get the regular updates. Audience, this session was powered by Post Resume. Post Resume is a recruitment consultancy. We are providing recruitment services across India, Africa, and Gulf since 2007. So, do approach us if you are looking for any career guidance, any job assistance. We will definitely help you. And if you are looking for talent solutions for your organization, do contact us. We will definitely help you with the best of guidance. Thank you so much for joining in today. Hope to see you next week, Friday, 5 p.m., with different industry experts to help you, to guide you, to motivate you, to mentor you. Till then, stay blessed, keep smiling.